how are you? I hope you guys had a great weekend. The weather was beautiful. It was perfect to get outside, go for a walk, maybe play in your yard. Hopefully you got to do all of those fun things. I know I got to. I went for a walk. I planted some plants. I'm growing some plants, which I hopefully will get to show you next week. But I got to do a lot of fun things in the sun. So that's awesome if you did too. So today we're going to talk about measuring. And before we practice some measuring, I want to show you what we use measuring for.
Mr. Vasquez and I are working on a room in our house right now, and we need to do a lot of measuring to make sure that the walls are the right height and that there's enough space for the windows and all the switches and the outlets. So we use measuring a lot.
So when Mr. Vasquez and I measure something, we usually use this. Does anybody know what it's called? Well, if you guessed a tape measure, you're right, there's that word again, measure. Measuring is when you need to figure out how big something is, or how small something is, or how heavy something is, or tall. So we use measuring. If you look closely, it's got numbers on it. And so when I measure something, I want to see maybe how tall it is. Have you ever been to the doctor's office and they see how much you weigh and they see how tall you've gotten since the last time? Well, that's what I use to measure. So if I measured myself, let's see. If I measured myself, I would start at the bottom at number 1, and I would go until I got all the way to as tall as I am, and I would look. Oh my goodness. It says, see that number? 62. I am 62 inches tall. But guess what? We don't just have to measure using numbers like a tape measure or a ruler. Today we're going to use a couple different things and we're going to see how many we need to measure. So I'm going to use Reese's peanut butter cups, delicious, and then I might eat a few afterwards. We're also going to use a reoccurring character on this show, Mr. Vasquez's socks. He has so many, he hasn't missed these. And then the third thing we're going to use is markers. But guess what? You guys can find anything in your house that you want to measure with. You can do goldfish crackers, you can do your own socks, you could do crayons, you could do DVD cases, whatever you find at your house. So let's get started. The first thing I have is a big piece of wood. Later I might turn it into something. Maybe that would be another episode that we could watch together, but I'm going to measure this big piece of wood. Now, what would be the quickest way to measure? Would it be me using itty bitty Reese's peanut butter cups? That would take probably a lot. Or could I use something bigger, like a marker? What would take less time? What would be easier, to measure with a big marker or to measure with a tiny Reese's peanut butter cup? Let's see, what do you think? You said the marker. You were right. If I did the Reese's peanut butter cup, I don't even know if I would have enough to measure. Should we see? Let's see. So far I have 1, 2, they're all gonna fall off. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh man, I ran out. See, these were so small, I ran out of them. There weren't enough. This was too big. So do you think that I should use Reese's peanut butter cups, or should I use something bigger to measure? Probably something bigger. All right, let me take these down and then we can do markers. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, and this one was too big. It's hanging over the edge. So I have, how many markers is this wood? 1, 2, 3. And then, remember we talked about halves when I made my baking video? This is about half of a marker. If I broke this marker in half, it would probably be enough. So this is about 3 markers and 1/2 of a marker long. Interesting. Why don't we try and measure something else? Okay, now I have a mug. And this mug is a lot smaller than my piece of wood, right? Look at how big that is. I could fit a lot of mugs on that wood. But I want to see how tall this mug is. Would I use markers again? Would I use socks? Or could I use Reese's peanut butter cups this time? Which one do you think? Reese's peanut butter cups, a sock, or a marker? If you guessed the peanut butter cups, you're right. So let's see how many it takes to see how tall they are. Do you think you could guess how many Reese's peanut butter cups I'm gonna use? Why don't you take a minute and tell your grown-up what number you think I'm gonna use for my Reese's peanut butter cups. All right, let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I need any more? I think I do. Oh no, 5. Do you think that I need any more, or is that pretty much as tall as it goes? I think it is. If I fix this so that they're going opposites of each other, I think it'll show us that we have just enough. Oh, look at that. And look, I also made a pattern with my Reese's peanut butter cups. Red, gold, red, gold, red. What would come next in my pattern? What color would I need next? Gold. Oh, but look at that one's too tall. So we don't need that piece. We needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Reese's peanut butter cups to measure how tall my cup is. How many socks would I need to measure how tall this cup is? How many do you think? Let's see. 1. And that's it. I would only need 1 sock. Isn't that funny how measuring works? Whatever you're measuring, you need to think about what would be the easiest way to measure. Let's try one more thing. Does anybody know what this is? It's a keyboard or piano. We are going to measure this piano. Do you think that I should use Reese's peanut butter cups to measure this big piano? Or should I use Mr. Vasquez's socks? If you said socks, you were right. So let's get started. I need your help counting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, let's see here. I think I've got too much of my socks, so I might have to fold it in half. And then, oh, look at that, just enough. So how many socks was this piano? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then half of a sock. So 6 and 1/2. You guys did some good counting. So I want you guys this week to measure some objects in your house. You can use paper clips, you can use clothespins, you can use books, whatever you need to measure. Remember, if you're measuring something small, use small objects like Reese's peanut butter cups or paper clips, I think I said. If you're measuring something big like a piano, you might want to use some bigger objects like markers or crayons. And if you guys really want to challenge yourself, use numbers. Find a ruler, find a measuring tape, whatever you think, or make your own. You could even make your own by cutting up a strip of paper and writing numbers on it. So measure this week. Send us pictures of all of the hard work you're doing. We can't wait to see you. And hope you have a good rest of your week.